I'm Steve, and this is CC Garage. Hello YouTube, and welcome back. Got Lee in the Lee in the shop today helping us. Well, we finally got our step notches. They're from AVS. These are the Evolve series. We've already taken the bed and the fuel cell out. We got the frame blocked up, both sides. We got the jack underneath the diff. We got that lugs broke loose. We're gonna pull the back tires off. We have to take the bags off and the old notches out. And I know the way I wanna do it, I'm gonna notch out the top of the frame right here. So that way these will drop down inside, and then I will have a lot more material to weld to. I think this has to go right now, and possibly this. We're gonna have to go ahead and move a bunch of wires and air lines. And I know this is gonna have to get moved somehow. That mount's gonna have to get moved. But I wanna go with the Watts link because I think they look cleaner. They're a lot better because they keep the axle centered better than a panhard bar. And another thing is this is gonna have to be notched because we are running a solid drive shaft. So let's pull the tires off and we will be back. Tires off. Airbag. Airhead. Just kidding. We got the axle sitting right on we got the U-bolt sitting on the ground because we couldn't get the tube out. We're gonna go ahead, pull our notches off now. We got all these bolts I gotta come back out. Part of me doesn't know why I even put these notches in when I knew I was gonna lay frame eventually, but here we are, so we'll be back. So we're gonna start out by removing this bar right here. We're just using a cutoff wheel on our angle grinder, taking the head off, using punches, punching them out. There's 3 on the top that we gotta do. And then the bottom, I'm not sure how we're gonna do that yet, if we're just gonna cut that bracket off or if we're gonna actually punch out the rivets. So just like before, that bracket's nice and loose. We'll go to the other side, take those 3 rivets off. So we're getting closer to putting those in. We got the brace that was right here is gone. And this is where the back of the notch sits when it's sitting on top of the frame. So we figured out if we measure where the bottom of the frame is, where the notch is gonna sit, it's gonna sit right there to right there. So we're gonna hopefully not take this all the way out because these rivets are gonna be a pain in the ass to get to. So we're gonna go ahead, slice the frame right here, cut this out, probably cut a little bit of this out and see where that notch is gonna sit, and then cut up here where it's gonna sit, and hopefully not too many issues. So we're a little bit further into the project now. We got everything cleared out of the way that needs to be cleared out of the way. Let's see. These brackets right here were part from, these went right here on the inside, and that was to strengthen this up because that is right where the spring sat. So that was to strengthen all that up. We don't need that anymore. We're gonna weld our notches in. Not really happy that I ended up cutting out this much extra material because I was hoping that this would be right up against it, but we're gonna box in the inside of this somehow. I don't know if I'm gonna try to use pieces I cut out or go buy new steel, but got everything sitting pretty flush. Got it clamped in. The measurement is right from front to back on both sides. Both sides are even. Yeah, that's it for now. So I'm gonna go, another thing I did, drilled a couple extra holes right here. That way I can do rosette welds or plug welds, whatever you want to call them. I figured the most weld I can get on this, the better. That'll make it stronger. But we're gonna weld across the top. These welds cleaned up the inside so I can weld. I'm gonna have to fill this in somehow because I don't really want to take off a bunch of material. Same thing with that side. I got that cleaned off on the bottom. We'll weld on the inside, the back side on the top. After we cut this chunk out, we'll weld this right here, both sides. Kind of wish I didn't have my tanks and stuff on because that would make it a lot easier. But I think it's a good start for now. Still a lot of work. Still a lot of work needs to be done. Well, I took a little bit of a break and made an upgrade. This is the Hobart 140 or Handler 140. Should be a lot better than our Chicago 90 amp, I think I've been using on everything. I'm not gonna lie, I'm really surprised that the welder has lasted as long as it has. Bought this about, I don't know, 10 years ago for $100. So she's lasted quite a while, but hopefully this one will last a lot longer. Should get a lot better welds. And this one I can run gas on. I didn't buy gas this time, but I'm gonna buy gas for it. So I honestly kind of feel like I've been missing out not having a nice welder because I know I'm just using flux core, but this is laying down so nice. I mean, all I did was I opened up the side panel and they have their gauge chart in there. It's got this little keychain, I guess. You go ahead, you stick it on your metal, which the factory frame is 10 gauge. So I looked at 10 gauge, it says 435. So that's what I put it at, and I'm pretty happy with it. Like, I would have had to mess with the other welder a lot, and it just, these welds are going on like butter. So still want to go through and fill in a bunch of this, but I had 3 holes right there that I drilled that I filled those in. And then I'm gonna take the Sawzall and cut the frame like that, both sides. So we got this notch burned in, we got this piece cut out. Welds turned out pretty good. I mean, I gotta get in here better, but that bottom turned out good. I'm gonna have to figure out in this area, but I like that weld. I do the same thing over there. I'm gonna try to clean up in there so I can weld. I got this bead ran, this bead ran. I got all my holes plugged in or plugged up. So this is on here pretty solid. So right now I'm getting the Sawzall ready so that way I can zip this off. Actually, for this right here, I'm not sure because I still have the bar down here for the trailing arm. So I might snip off, I don't know. I might try to snip off like right there where the bar is, but try to keep most of that there. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm gonna do with that, but over here, I just run the blade through there and I just follow that all the way down. So I took a little bit out of the back of the cab, got all of our blocks out of the way, lower the jack. Hopefully the jack will come out. Nope. So when we let the truck down the first time, we were having issues where the drive shaft was hitting. So I took my Sawzall and I went up again, took the cutoff wheel, went over, and then I just hacked the shit out of it with the Sawzall. I'd go up that way, all different angles until I got this brace back here all cleaned out. I know there's still a little bit in there that needs to come out, but it's something that a lift would make a whole lot easier. I got my lines zip tied up on the notches. Over here I got to tape these together. I got the front aired up just so I could fit the jacks under it. Because we don't have a whole lot of space. The drive shaft's not touching nothing. So there she is, all aired out. These back tires are 30 inches tall and the fronts are 26. So that right there is only about 3 inches that the frame is from touching the ground back here. I know if I put 26s on the back, like what I have on the front, right there's another 2 inches I'll gain. I think I'm just gonna order the brackets. I'm gonna make the bridge and put the bags right on top of the axles. Next project, I need to cut out the whole center of the bed. Take the wheel wells off, cut that centerpiece out. Use our handy dandy chain fall and put this back on. I mean, at least now people won't mistake me for just being lowered on springs or anything, because that's what happened at the last show I went to. Nope. So we got it figured out where the notches, or how wide the notches are. So easiest way I found was I just laid down a straight edge, and this gap right here is what needs to go away for the step notches, the rear diff. Underneath there is a brace somewhere in here that is also gonna have to be notched out. It's the brace that sits on this plate right here because drive shaft's up too high. So we'll probably lift the truck up just a little bit so that way I can get the box on there, and then we'll be able to figure out where exactly on that brace that's on there, so that way we can cut that out, and that should be it. So we actually got the hole cut out in the bed and got the bed sitting on here, but it does not sit on here because these and the inside of the bed. So that stake pocket on that side's got to come off. This one on this side's got to come off. We have to trim around. We also removed the wheel wells. And then we will be that much closer, but we still have that brace that's got to be notched out for the drive shaft. So I think I'm just going to grab my cutoff wheel. Well, after I replace the wheel again. And I'm going to try to take out the stake pockets. So now we got the bed off. We got it, I don't know, it's kind of sturdy. Not really worried about it moving anywhere. I got it sitting on the back tires. The tires are blocked. I got the garbage can holding this side. Chain fall still got tension on it. I had the bed where it was or whatever, and I took a 2x4 and I went across the top of the tire with a Sharpie, so you can kind of see that blue line right there. That'll be my first cut. So what we got to do, let's get under here. Probably not OSHA approved, but Steve approved. So pretty much going to trim from, this is the original opening, trim all that, and then it's going to come down in here, which eventually I'll probably flatten the top or whatever, and I'll come down to the original, but I don't know, because we're not going to use this original bed floor. We're going to do a raised floor above it somehow. Same thing over here. We'll come up from that, come over, and then that should be enough clearance. We'll take our sawzall or our cutoff wheel, and we'll trim out this inner piece. So I showed you guys how to do the first side. I spun the bed around. I got the other side. Now we're gonna go ahead, take our stands out, turn it back around, try to roll the truck under it, see what happens. And it is a success. I mean, theoretically, like, good thing we got these stake pockets gone. But the 2x4 trick worked out pretty good. We are good on clearance now. Gonna need to notch a little bit more of that floor out right there, so that way it's not rubbing on the notch. But other than that, now that we got the bed on here right, I got my bag mounts. I don't know if I already showed those or not. I already got this one bolted on. And then we got our bottom plates right here. These are for a 3.5-inch axle tube. I need to take off the T for the brake lines. And then this is gonna get welded on right here. We're gonna make a bridge that goes from the front of the C-notch to the front of the C-notch. And then that top bracket is gonna go this way, so that way it'll put the bag right over top of that. And that should be pretty good. So we are about ready to make the bridge. So I've already cleaned up the axle tubes, just wire brushed them. Lower brackets, we're gonna butt right up against the pig. And then I went and got this bar. It is 2x2, I'm pretty sure. It's fairly thick. So we're gonna weld the lower brackets onto the axle tube. And then we're gonna clean the paint off this part of the notch, pound this into place. And then the bag will go just like that. This will actually sit underneath that bridge, if you want to call it. And then we will weld across the top of this. Mommy shower. There's a raptor chasing you?
Yes, real raptor.
Oh.
And it looks so cool. We sit and we yell at it. This one way, I watched it run very quick.
Oh yeah?
Because it is fighting. That way we so fast flying.
So there you have it. The bags are all done. Sorry I didn't get into too much depth on everything I was doing, but pretty much just need some paint. We got our bridges welded in. We got some nice welds on there. Still got to figure out what exactly we're going to do with all these hoses, power line, but she sits pretty low. I mean, the back end sits lower than the front, and the back is actually going to lay frame when we get the right size tires on there. The front, we're going to get that on the ground during the winter time, because we're going to completely tear down the truck again. I know, should have just did it the first time, but we didn't. But winter time, we're going to we're going to pancake the cross member and Z the frame, and find out what other problems come with that. Hopefully nothing too crazy, but when you get into modifying at this level, you're gonna run into stuff, you're gonna learn stuff, you're gonna get frustrated, but in the end you're gonna be happy that you got it done and you did the work yourself. So stay tuned, see you on the next one.